Right. Uh, Good afternoon. My name is Ankit, and I'm going to kind of introduce the session today. Uh, so we are going to talk about the CREST program and some of the details around it. So typically, the CREST program is is so we've been associated with CREST, and thanks to CREST and CoreNet New England, we've been partners with them for over 7 years. And this is our own way from the Corporate Real Estate Network Group to kind of get the underrepresented people into corporate real estate industry and get them excited about our industry. And so first of all, thank you for CoreNet and CREST to have this wonderful relationship for past 7 years. And then thank you to all the CoreNet members who are extending their valuable time in mentoring some of those interns who are sponsored uh, from the CREST side. So big thanks for that. Um, just before that, next slide. Yeah, so just a reminder on the upcoming 2024 events. It's already, can't believe it's already end of 2023. So we already have some exciting events lined up for 2024. So on 24th is where are we today with diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's going to be very exciting. We've been kind of planning this for some time. So it's an amazing event coming up, very, very relevant in what's happening around us today. On March, there's the annual ski trip. That's always a fun event, and people look forward to it. So definitely keep an eye out and sign up for that. It tries to typically fill up very fast. And then, of course, on May 23rd is our Award of Excellence, which is again a very, very coveted CoreNet event. Uh, and just a few, before I move on to introducing and thanking our corporate partners, just a quick reminder on CREST deadlines too. So we have a subsidy program for CREST where CoreNet kind of subsidizes 4 applications as a gratitude towards our relationship and our sponsor partners. So that deadline is January 19th. And for people who don't know or are new to this program starts on June of next year and goes on for 10 weeks. So it's a program, a summer internship program, but the deadline for that is applying subsidy and application is January 19th. More when I introduce Milton and Jayson on this subject. But before that, a big, big, big thank you to our corporate partners, founding circle members, and our platinum sponsors. And also to a big thank you to our gold sponsors and our silver sponsors. So sorry, I've been a little under the weather. So apologize for that. But without further ado, I would like to introduce our great partners from CREST, Milton Benjamin, who has been kind of a torch bearer for these initiatives, I believe, and I've been privileged to talk to him for some years now, and he's amazing in what he's doing, and of course, super supported by Jayson, Pugh, again a great individual and a professional. So I would leave it to the experts to kind of take you through what this is really all about. And at the end, if you have any questions, you can ask the questions in between, or if you want to wait it out, and if you have any questions, you can always ask later. And we're going to record this session, and it's going to be circulated in case you want to kind of revisit this recording again. So thank you. Over to you, Milton and Jayson.
Thank you, Ankit. Milton, our founder, will first provide some brief remarks. Go ahead, Milton.
Right, thank you. Ankit, thank you for that introduction. And thank you from us very deeply for the support that CoreNet has been for the CREST program over the 7 years. And indeed, the relationship over the years has grown immensely. Last year was a banner year, not only because it was our 10th year, but because it was the year that CoreNet decided to match an intern with a mentor for the summer and beyond. And that has gone fantastically well, both for the interns and, to some degree to the employers of those interns, because what they got was a better person, a better student, and one more learned in the way of the real estate world. We not only thank CoreNet, but we thank individually some of the member firms that have participated with us, including Liberty Mutual, Hobbs Book, John Hancock, National Grid, Thermo Fisher, JLL, Margulis Peruzzi, Commodore, Cushman, Wakefield, a number of other firms who have all been in one way an employer or supporter to what CREST has done. And as pointed out, our goal principally is to find a pathway for those who had historically been outside of the commercial real estate circle, people of color and women, to not only participate in an internship, but to go on to find full-time positions and help our commercial real estate universe be more diverse and therefore better positioned for the future. Next slide. Just a little background. I can't say that the idea originated with me, although I am the founder of CREST. A fellow named Dick Galvin, who runs not only Accordia Partners, but CB Properties, was working on a hotel project in the Seaport, more like South Boston, and decided that it was time to introduce students to a project like his. And if those students could be found in the Dorchester, South Boston, Seaport area, that would be good. He and I formed a relationship with UMass Boston, and the original students under CV Properties were students exclusively from that university. Today, we draw on a number of different colleges and universities. You'll hear more about that from Jayson in a moment. Here we are 10 years later, now having introduced over 200 students to internships, to paid internships, 70 of whom are now full-time employees in the CRE world. We thank those who have been supporters along the way. We could not have become what we are today without the help of NAIOP, ULI, GREB, GBREB, and CoreNet. Those relationships not only provide access to employers, but classwork, courses, wonderful social times and networking events that have all helped our interns move ahead in their career development. And obviously our focus is on diversity, equity, and inclusion. This picture, self-explanatory. There's Mark Watkins, longtime friend and supporter of CREST. And the stats you have here speak to how we recruit, where we recruit, where we're focusing our effort with regard to juniors, seniors, and graduate students. We're very pleased to have been successful in creating something out of pretty much whole cloth. Is moving from the belief that the students weren't there, that people of color and women weren't there, to today proving that they're not only there, but they're prepped for leadership. Thank you. Next slide. Jayson, why don't I hand it over to you here?
Sounds good. And so these are our academic partners. And as Milton mentioned, we, at the beginning of the program, we're just aligned with the University of Massachusetts at Boston. And since we've expanded to a number of colleges and universities based within Greater Boston, New York, Rhode Island as well. And so we have great relationships with these individual academic partners. And so there's a number of special relationships that we have with various identity-based groups on these campuses. Again, we're seeking underrepresented students of color and women, and so it's very helpful to have relationships with those identity-based groups. So whether it be women in business, African Americans working within the real estate world at these academic institutions, it's very helpful to have that outlet to create that pipeline for us as a program. We also have a number of special relationships with faculty on these campuses as well. And so a number of professors are able to bring to light some of the opportunities that we're able to provide here at CREST to their students as well. And then lastly, we have strong relationships with these various organizational groups as it relates to their academic service offices and schools. And so having those relationships, it's been very strong for us in the past, and we really look forward to continuing to expand this academic partner list. Now, these are our employers from the past year, and as you can see, it's a very diverse list of commercial real estate employers ranging from some of those full-service firms all the way through some of those architectural firms to development firms. And so each of our students are, of course, having very different day-to-day experiences, each completing different internships with our academic partners and with our employers. And so we look forward to continuing to expand this list and also welcoming back a number of the employers listed here from last year, like Milton mentioned previously. Next slide. And so these are our sponsors and supporters from this year. And the reason that, of course, we love to highlight these organizations is because they do a wonderful job of providing our students with not only membership to organizations such as you do here at CoreNet Global. We're very thankful that you're able to provide our students with free memberships to CoreNet Global. Of course, this is a very unique opportunity for undergraduate and graduate students to not only interface with your membership, but to also meet the leaders within the organization. And so we're very thankful for the sessions that we've had with CoreNet over the past couple of years to help orient our interns and really assist with inclusion as they enter into the industry. And so in addition to CoreNet, as Milton mentioned, GREB and NAOP and the Urban Land Institute also provide free memberships to these organizations as well. I'd also, sorry, can we go back to the last slide? I'd also like to mention both Keller Augusta and Shine Associates on this list. Of course, our students are concerned with what might come next after the conclusion of their 10-week internship, because again, it's a 10-week internship and that is a short amount of time. But we do have a number of interns who have gone on to work full-time in the industry. And part of that is due to the relationships that we have with professional search firms such as Keller Augusta and Shine Associates that are able to elevate a number of for-hire positions that they're seeking to our CREST intern pool and to our alumni as well. And so we're very thankful for those partnerships as it relates to assisting those interns with career readiness. Next slide, please. And so at CREST, it is a 10-week summer internship running next year. And it's a very unique model because it's a cohort model. And so each of our students are, again, having those different day-to-day experiences, each hired by a specific firm and then paid by that firm for 10 weeks throughout the summer. This cohort model also acts as an affinity space for many of our interns because they are, again, all identifying as underrepresented students of color and women. And so it gives them that outlet outside of their workplace and experience to, of course, build those relationships early on in their careers that do last and continue on as they move on to mid-level management positions. And so the opportunities that we have throughout the summer, we couple our internship program with an academic exposure for our students. These past couple of years, that academic exposure has been in a hybrid model in which we call the CREST education program. And the education program is geared toward primarily providing our students with both professional development experience and then also commercial real estate business acumen that's necessary for entry-level positions within the field. And so we have a number of sessions as it relates to the anatomy of a building, as it relates to architecture, the role of the developer, the role of contracts within commercial real estate business law. And then, of course, those professional development skills such as public speaking, personal brand development, and business writing, just to name a few. I think the favorite course of many of our interns would have to be that public speaking course in which we contract with a professor from the Harvard Chan School of Public Health, Jack Rawson. And each of our interns have to do short presentations during his 2-day intensive workshop on their internship experience. And it's truly great to see how our interns are able to internalize the skills that they were able to learn throughout that workshop and apply them not only at their place of work, but then also at their academic institutions as well. I'd like to highlight the role of our colleague Sandra King, and Sandra occupies a unique role throughout the summer because she's in touch with both our interns and then our interns' direct manager. And so Sandra has the best idea of how the program is running on both ends. And so at the conclusion of each week, Sandra asks our interns to send her a short report. And so she then compiles a report for our internal team so that we have an understanding of how the intern is, of course, doing at their place of work. And then also it gives us a good sense of some of the skills that they've been learning throughout the summer. And then, of course, if there's any concerns, she's also in touch with those direct managers. So we've gone ahead and, of course, told you about the networking opportunities at CREST, primarily through the sponsors and supporters. I do also just want to touch upon the CREST Alumni Network, and this is a group that was founded a couple of years ago. Our alumni, of course, found the need to continue the relationships they established within the CREST program at the conclusion. And so the CREST Alumni Network is now a group of about 65 to 70 students who find themselves working within the commercial real estate industry. And so, of course, we continue to pay very special attention to this group because they really do exemplify what it means to be a CREST intern as they move on to work in the industry full time. They also do a great job of reaching out to our program. And so throughout the CREST education program in the summer, we also have a series of panels with our alumni. And this is really to display the varied career paths that our interns have taken at the conclusion of the internship, but then again, to also strengthen the affinity space for our students as they begin those entry-level positions after the end of the internship. Next slide, please. And so I just wanted to take some time to show some of the faces from our classes these past couple of years to give you a sense of some of those students that did occupy our space. And so on this slide, on the top row, I'd just like to highlight, of course, Jamie Lynch, who's now working full-time at WS Development. On the second row, we have Lynn Nguyen, who's now working at Insight Global down in Atlanta. Also on the second row, we have Tristan Moore, who's now an assistant project manager at Rise Construction. And the third row, we have Yesenia Tejada, who's working at the RMR Group. And lastly, Blanca Rodriguez, who's also working now at Berkeley Partners. And so, as you can see, there's a number of interns from 2021 who are working in the industry, and that number continues to grow. Next slide, please. Moving to the class of 2022, again, a very diverse group of students. And so we have a number of success stories from this particular class as well. We had an event last year when we were able to celebrate the success of CREST, and one of the students that we were able to highlight during that event was Joshua Dickens, who interned at Matimco and then went on to search for positions in real estate, and he's now working at Trinity Capital full-time. Also on this composite, we have Vishwa Shah, who interned at AEW. And then at the conclusion of her internship, she was actually offered a full-time position at AEW. And that was really, of course, based off of the work that she did throughout the summer and really put her best foot forward in terms of all of her efforts. And then I'd also like to mention Daniel Chen, who was an intern at Bullfinch, who then received a full-time offer to return to Bullfinch at the conclusion of his internship. Next slide, please. And this is our most recent class. I'm sure that many of you have had the opportunity to engage with them at a number of the events that you held last year in which you were so generous in extending the invitation to the cohort. And so I'd like to mention Olivia Pedro, who is now working at North Star full-time. After she graduates this year, she received that offer, and so we're very grateful for that. And then also Brian Shea. Brian was a very strong intern. He was actually in the class of 2022 as well. And so he had the opportunity to participate in the CREST program twice. Similar to Vishwa, Brian was able to receive a full-time offer at the conclusion of his internship to return to AEW. In the year previous, he was at the opportunity to really hone in on his skills. And then ultimately, at the conclusion of that internship, he was able to receive that full-time offer. Next slide, please. And so here are some familiar faces from the crowd at CoreNet. And this really displays the inclusion efforts that your chapter has done a wonderful job of assisting our interns with these past couple of years. And so your young leaders in terms of inviting them to a number of events and really making them feel included as they begin their work through their summer internship. Next slide, please. And so whether it be a number of the events that you hold in terms of engaging our students, Mark Watkins did a great job last year of orienting our students during our during our one-day orientation session to provide our students with an overview of corporate real estate. And so we're very thankful for those members that continue to step up and really provide their expertise for our interns, because many of our interns have different entry points to commercial real estate. And so really having that opportunity to make them feel welcome has been very helpful. Next slide, please. I do also want to mention the continuous support that we've had from you as it relates to a number of those events, such as the CoreNet Golf Tournament these past couple of years. I know that CoreNet was able to sponsor a foursome for the chapter, and they were able to sponsor 2 CREST interns, and we're very thankful for that. I know, Blake, you were very helpful in terms of orienting those students for that specific event, and we look forward to continuing that event in future years. And also the event that we held last year at the Winthrop Center, it was very great because our interns were able to learn a little bit about the work that was going on at Winthrop Center, but also it served as a great event for them to get to know their mentors. Next slide, please. And so, as I mentioned, the mentoring program has been very strong these past couple of years. And so this was our 3rd year of the mentoring program. I did want to show some of the students from 2021 and 2022 that participated in the program. And these were students that were able to take advantage of the mentoring program. And so again, this is an opportunity outside of that workplace experience for our students to work on their own personal and professional growth. And so your chapter has done a great job of elevating these students and really making them feel supported and having that mentor and having that individual that they could turn to within the industry working in corporate real estate to make them a better intern, but then also really assist them in thinking about what might come next after the CREST internship. Next slide, please. And also our class last year, it was wonderful because all of our interns were able to be matched with your membership as mentees. And so I'd really like to thank both Russell Chin and Abby Bott for all of their hard work this past summer in terms of matching all of our interns with mentors. They did a great job of really setting us up for success this past year because it was the first year in which all of the interns were actually able to have that opportunity to engage with a mentor. All of our interns have reflected very positively on that experience. And so we're really looking forward to continuing that program again this upcoming summer. Having the mentoring program has really been a great opportunity for the interns to really get to know their mentor, but then also get to know other mentors within the space as well. And so I know at the Winthrop Center event, there was lots of mingling and also lots of networking. And so our students not only have the opportunity to get to know their mentor, but then also other mentors that really do assist them. Next slide, please. And here is a post from LinkedIn from your chapter that features Manola Lovin, who was with Liberty Mutual last year. And I see Catherine Sanford on this call today. And so I'd like to thank you all for really elevating Manola last year. She was partnered with Amy Doria as her mentor. And so Manola was an individual who attended the Boston Architectural College and didn't have much experience as it relates to real estate. Of course, a wonderful architectural designer, but she was really able to learn about some of those opportunities within corporate real estate thanks to that internship that she held at Liberty Mutual, through the support of Catherine Sanford, Russell Chin, and then also her mentor, Amy Doria. And so individuals such as Manola that might not otherwise have had that opportunity to know anything about corporate real estate were really elevated this past year. And so we're very thankful for that continued support. Next slide, please. So this brings us to where we are today in terms of thinking about applying to be a CREST employer for the upcoming summer. And so our program dates are running from June 3rd through August 9th. And so it's a 10-week summer internship, and we'd like you to begin thinking about some steps as it relates to beginning that process. And so having some internal conversations about how you can provide that meaningful workplace experience for the intern. I'd of course encourage you all to speak to other employers that have served as CREST employers in the past in terms of orienting yourselves to some of the work and really thinking about how you can best set up your organization for success with that intern. Thinking about some of those specific skills or prerequisites for that position, because we do require a job description. And so understanding what that day-to-day work that the intern will be completing will be very important in terms of that process. And then also possibly thinking toward the future. Might there be an opportunity to potentially hire that intern full-time at the conclusion of the internship? Of course, really thinking about how you can set the intern up for the success throughout those 10 weeks, but then of course, ultimately thinking long-term of creating that pipeline to continue to diversify the commercial real estate industry. Next slide, please. And so in terms of logistics, we first asked our employers to complete our 2024 employer participation form. And this form can be found on our website. And it asks some information as it relates to demographics for the student that you're seeking out. And then also your ability to take on various interns. And so again, we're seeking junior, seniors, and graduate students. And so in that form, you have the opportunity to express some of your preferences. And that's where we have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about your firm's specific needs. We at CREST do screen all of our applicants. And so we have a very strong vetting process in place that we interview our candidates, and then prior to sending over candidate matches to our firms, we have a very strong understanding of that student's academic background, some of their previous work experiences, and we've really been able to measure students' potential for success within these past couple of years, and I think that's really helped us strengthen the program as a whole. We then send employers specific intern candidates. And so once you receive an intern candidate, you have the opportunity to conduct interviews with that student about that specific position. We do ask our candidates in their interviews to list some preferences as it relates to some of the firms that they've researched that may be some of our previous employers. And so they do come prepared to our interviews, knowing a little bit about some of the firms, but of course, during that interview with your team, they would have your job description in hand and come prepared to that interview, knowing a little bit about some of the work that you're doing at your organization. We do provide the CREST education program throughout the summer. And so again, the internship is coupled with the CREST education program. The past couple of years, it has been in that hybrid format. And so we generally allot 2 hours per week for the CREST education program. And so that's generally on a Tuesday or a Thursday, 1-hour sessions with those professional development coaches and then also speakers as it relates to commercial real estate business acumen. These are paid summer internships. And so our interns earn a minimum of $18 an hour. And we also ask that our employers pay an administrative fee of $5,000. And so I'll turn it over to my colleague, Milton Benjamin, for some closing remarks before we take some questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Jayson. Not much more to say. I think we've rounded out and offered to you all what CREST is, what it offers. And I guess I'll just close by looking to the success we've achieved after the after a 10-year look back. The number of interns and the quality of interns that have become alumni and now are in the workforce speaks to their capabilities, speaks to the success in the industry opening itself to new possibilities and new people. And it also suggests that that the region, in particular Boston and the surrounding area, has proven the point that there's a substantial amount of talent in the universities and colleges. That talent is diverse and can be not only supportive to the industry, but can be a place where leadership grows. So I'll end there. The opportunity to work with CoreNet again this year excites us. The opportunity to work with employers that may be on this call is additionally exciting. And we look forward to working with you this year. Thank you. Questions?
Next slide, please. Not seeing any questions at the moment, but I do have my email address here as well. And so I would encourage you all to reach out to me with any questions that you may have. We're more than happy to schedule an individual session with you or anyone from your team that might just be thinking about some of the pieces that might go into, of course, taking on a CREST intern. And so we do look forward to those conversations after the holiday for the individual firms that might like to have those conversations.
Yeah, thank you, Milton and Jayson, for this great overview. And thank you for this continued partnership. And again, I would like to thank our sponsors and participants for over 7 years of this relationship. And along with Jayson's email ID, you can, of course, contact me, myself, or Blake, or Catherine for more information. And all the sponsors should have received an email from Catherine yesterday, so that should also have all the details. But in any questions, we are all here to answer that for you guys. And thank you for your partnership, and have a wonderful holidays if we don't speak before that. So thank you, Jayson. Thank you, Milton, and thank you for your great partnership and trust in CoreNet New England chapter.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you, Blake.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all. We really appreciate it. Look forward to a successful 2024.
Happy holidays.
Thank you both.
Bye now.